And a joy for me, of course, because I'm working for the first time with a proper orchestra. I mean, I don't mean we've had a bad orchestra in the theatre, but a big one, you know, which CATS could often do with, and great excitement, it's new ground. The music's been re-recorded. It's been recorded from scratch for this production, and in places it has a much bigger orchestra than we had originally, like the Jellicle Ball or Memory, which is a great joy for me. But it's marvellous to have a chance of working now. Of course, it was 17 years old, and now we're able to work with some more recent electronic instruments and things. It's been great fun.
In order to be some kind of definitive CATS, this has musically become an amalgam of various versions of the show. One of the very points of CATS is that it's written in so many different musical styles.
We've been through the show and decided where it needs to be big, it's big. Where it needs to be small, it's small. Whereas before, where it needed to be big, it was as big as a 16-piece could be. But now, when it's big, it's a 90-piece. It's a big orchestra. Okay, let's start Memory. Is Sylvia down there? Have we checked we're okay for 15 minutes overtime?
I have called.
If you ever run with a big orchestra, it's hugely expensive, so it's just organisation and making sure that when you start on the day, everything's right.
Memory.
And it's not always right. And you can overrun, but you try not to.
Andrew has total involvement in the project, and it's absolutely imperative that he does. Everybody can put their interpretive ideas into it, but they may not be relevant if that's not what the composer had in mind.
And we really have to look at this. The phrasing of the flute I thought I'd address, but it's completely wrong. It's not supposed to be in these, two-note phrases. It's da-do-do-do-do-do. It's not, just none of the poetry here remotely.
Okay.
And I need to hear what was the addressing of CATS, if we can.
He has an uncanny knack of walking in and putting his finger on the problem. Annoyingly so. You may well have sat here for a couple of hours trying to work out why things aren't going the right way, and he'll come in and he'll say, what's the problem? And you tell him, and he'll put his finger straight on it, and you think, how did you know that?
And then that comes up, but it doesn't come up in proportion to everybody else. So in other words, they're mezzo forte, everybody else has got to forte here, and they kick forte there, and then they come off with a sforzando. I think we do that. Many generations do. Yeah. So they just crescendo up a little later. I think that'll be nice.
Great.
Oh, well, the re-recording, yes, of the song was something I thought, oh, yikes, here we go, we've got to go and, do it again. And so we were all at CTS Studios, and the orchestra struck up, and I sang along. I remember the time I knew what happiness was. And then there were lots of discussions, and it all went very quiet, and we didn't record it again. I thought, well, it's rather peculiar.
I'm terribly unhappy about all this. It's all been done against the clock. I just want to knock this session on the head. I just don't think it's worth it.
I've taken them into overtime, so I might as well do it. I might as well do it.
I mean, I'm just not happy with this at all.
Okay, but I've taken them there, so we might as well do
I just
something.
don't want to let this orchestration out at all.
I totally agree.
And I don't want to let the Moments of Happiness orchestration out at all.
Okay, well then we should stop now.
I don't honestly think.
Okay.
I mean, I think we've got to do this all again. Have another day.
Okay. When we started to record, Andrew's first impression was, it could be bigger, it could be bigger, it could be better than this for film.
It's always haunted me, this tune. It's spine-tingling.
I heard absolutely no melody line at all.
There won't be.
Right.
Not today.
Okay, understand.
You have to pay more for a melody line.
Thank you.
Tell Gary that. Budget has to go up, we've got no melody
Wish
line.
somebody would remember that in my contracts. I must admit. There haven't been that many changes made to the show itself, except that, of course, being close up to it in the way that we are, we're able perhaps to tell the story a little clearer, a little better. And of course, one of the great joys also is that being up closer, I think that the words can sing a bit more. I think sometimes, you know, sometimes they can get lost in performance. I think it's much easier to follow what Elliot himself wrote in this. And we've been able, I think, to keep pretty close to the spirit of the stage show. In fact, that's been the intention from the beginning. It's more of a telling to somebody who's a little closer to you. It's just a tiny bit you're telling an audience, whereas, I mean, it should really be like, you know, yeah, you know, you're really telling a load of children like Nigel and I, you see.
In the hall of St. James is the smartest of names, is the name of his brother of cats. And we're all of us proud to be nodding about to buy bust down the Jones in white spats.
Just a little bit less, a little bit less Joyce Grenfell, you know. And I think that, I mean, I think brilliantly done was the word Brummel. I think to get to the word, you know, this Brummel of Cats is a real celebration of old Bustifer. But I think we let him down a wee bit if we slightly sort of send him up, which by doing the accents too much, I think you might be in danger of doing.
Here we go, and playback.
In the hall of St. James is the smartest of names, is the name of this Brummel of Cats. And we're all of us proud to be nodded about to buy bust down the Jones in white spats.
In the hall of St. James is the smartest of names, is the name of this Brummel of Cats. And we're all of us proud to be nodded about to buy bust down the Jones in white spats.